Let's start with what has gone wrong with our food. Like what has changed about our food that it's almost like a surprise to us today that what we eat is affecting how we feel?
Yeah, it's really multifactorial, but it's all happened in the last 50 or 60 years. You look at like obesity rates, heart attack rates, diabetes rates in the last 50 years, just exponentially increasing. And I think it's a few things that happened. One was there was a little bit of a panic back in the 50s that we weren't going to have enough food to feed everybody, right? So the government started putting into place subsidies and laws and bringing corporations together to start mass producing food. And that mass production of food led to over farming of soil, packaging foods to make them last longer, but then also, you have these packaged foods, they're not that inspiring. So how do you make them taste better? You make them hyper palatable. And then whenever you involve corporate America in anything, right, what's the goal of corporations? To make a profit. How do you do that? By making things cheaper and making more of them, right? So now you have these giant food conglomerates, like making tons and tons of food as cheaply as possible. And that means using chemicals, it means using dyes, it means hiring scientists to make it hyper palatable. So even though normally you would eat this thing and your body would be like, well, what is this? This is horrible. And your body would be able to sense how bad it is for you. Now you can't because the scientists have made it taste good, right? And so you have this massive kind of explosion of ultra processed food. An entire supermarket, you look at the square footage of a supermarket, only the outside of it is dedicated to fresh food. The entire middle is frozen, processed, boxed, canned food, right? And we have so much of it in our society right now that's really what's caused a lot of the problems. And so we've kind of come to this disaster point where most of the food that we see that is being supplied to our population has become full of toxins and basically not healthy for you. So really, we have to really look at and take a step back. How do we eat 50 years ago and how can we go back to that type of eating pattern?
Like you just said that when you go into a grocery store, you're seeing that the majority of it is taken up by processed foods. People are thinking, well, what do I eat? Because it's almost like we've got so used to eating out of tins, cans, boxes, packets. It almost even takes a second to think of what food isn't in one of those.